Welcome, everyone. I'm Karen Polino Carrere, and I am here to share in my new 5-week series. This is week 2, and the series is about who am I in the midst of change. I was really inspired by my Awaken My True Self community that I started a year ago with over 100 members, and these members are soul community, tribe. I'm so grateful for each and every one of them. And they've taught me so much about, I'm always the student and the teacher at the same time, but they have been brave, inspiring, healing, awakening, and I've watched many of them journey through the midst of change, and we're always going through change, right? Doesn't matter if the change is small or really big or really tough or joyful, but change is a part of the human journey. So we're in week 2 right now, and week 2 is about who am I in the midst of grief and loss. And, this is a tough time when we feel like the rug has been pulled out from under us and grief and loss really hit to the core of our being. And this grief and loss can come in multiple ways. It can come in a loss of a loved one, a loss through a divorce, the loss of that family unit. I can talk about all of these, or the loss of a job. And in each of those losses, this is why I created the Awaken My True Self community, because in the midst of losses or change, we have somewhat of an identity crisis. Who am I? And what is this journey all about? And how do I move forward? So I want to talk about the journey through grief and loss. Now, please, I'm here for you. So welcome everybody coming on live and listening to the recording. Please ask questions. I'm open to comments. I see a couple people coming on. But if I don't answer your questions live, I will answer them in the comments after the live event. So this is, as I do support the Awaken My True Self community, this is a way that I want to support you and guide you through the midst of change. So first of all, grief and loss can rock your foundation, right? It almost feels like, as I said, the rug gets pulled out from under you. No matter if it's loss through a loved one, a friend, or even a job or something, a loss of a home. It's that physical void that we can't fill again in the same way that we were journeying through life. So it almost feels like we experience that void physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So what do we do? And I'm going to correct right now, it's not all about doing. We want to pause and heal and just be sometimes. I know when I've gone through major loss and change, or the rug feels like it's been pulled, I have to stop, because doing avoids the pain and healing the grief and the loss. And sometimes we just need to take a time out. We just need to be in nature, be with ourselves. So first of all, honor wherever you're at in the journey of grief and loss. Now, you may be asking, who am I without this loved one that has passed? Who am I without my job, my home? This is when you come back to yourself on the spiritual journey. It's very deep, and they say in the spiritual community, it's one of the biggest questions that you can ask yourself. And I feel like it's a very important question because we can't control what happens in the outer life experiences. We can't hold on and keep someone here, even though we want to. We don't want to let go through loss. We sometimes stay in a job that's miserable because we are in fear of letting go and moving on and that loss. So coming back to the question is, it's a start. Who am I without? And sometimes when we lose a parent, we feel like, who am I now that I'm not a daughter or a sibling? Who am I if I'm not a sister? Or who am I if I don't have this role in the job? Or who am I if I leave my home, my neighbors, my community? And so honestly, I feel like that question is always a turn back here. It's about our soul, the divine is pointing the way. Come back to you. Come back and just sit with you. Sit with your emotions. Sit with your feelings. Surrender to healing. Ask for healing. Take time for yourself. Now, I'm going to give you some ways to move through the grief and loss, or to have some choices, because I always like to I use my ACHA method. Awareness is the first A. C is about choice. And the last A is about action. So I always love to bring new awareness or possible awareness, and then choices. So first of all, I want you to reflect, okay? And I'm just looking at some comments. Alan said, my loved one passed away about 8 weeks ago. I could hear his voice and feel his presence more easily in the earlier weeks after his passing than I can now. Could there be a reason for that? And Ellen, I would say I had the exact same experience with my sister, who passed over 20-something years ago at the early age of 41. And I felt her presence. I heard her. I was dreaming with her at the beginning. The first 3 months, I was so connected. I felt like I had one foot in her world and one foot in this world. And I feel like it's a natural evolution of the soul that they pull away to move through their transition and their next stage in their soul journey. And we have to do the same. So it's not that they're not right there. It means that the soul is trying to support both the one back here on earth and the one in spirit to their next evolution of their journey. So that's why this next key point, there's grieving and there's suffering. So what's the difference? Well, we have to go through the natural healing process of grieving the loss, no matter if it's with a job or something that we're still experiencing, or change on the earth plane, or if it's a loved one passing. There is a grieving process. There's tons of books and the 5 steps of grief. There's a process. So first of all, just allow space, right? Make space. Give yourself permission to feel, to heal. That's a mantra that Louie and I use in our breathwork work. Feel to heal. So give yourself space and room. And the difference between grieving and feeling your feelings and moving through the waves of experiences, motion, change, is part of the process of moving through and moving forward. And then there's suffering when we try and hold on to what could have we done, like questioning why. That's suffering. When we keep going through the whys. Why did it happen? Why did it have to happen? Why did this person do this? Why? Is getting stuck in the whys creates suffering. When we hold on to the past. What if I did this? What if I said this? What if they had done this differently? What if, right? Those what ifs create suffering. Their mind replaying, recycling. And so we're not moving down in the heart center to feel, to heal, to remember what we're grateful for with the journey that we've been through with our loved ones, or through growth and experience through where we were and had to move from, like in a job or in home. So remember, there's a natural grieving process, and it's important to come back to you, listen to you, give time for you. Say no when you need to say no to others. Honor yourself, honor your space. And then there's crossing the line, and when you're in suffering, you're holding on to the past and holding on to what was. And that can be a journey in itself of moving into acceptance. Now, acceptance starts to lift suffering and holding on. It starts to bring openness and clarity to what can be delivered by this abundant universe, by your loved ones in spirit, new opportunities, new growth. And there's movement in moving from suffering. Suffering can block communication with your loved ones in spirit. It can keep you stuck. I love that comment, Doris. I'm going to share that in a minute. So ask yourself right now, are you going through waves of grief and then moving back into suffering and then processing and suffering? That's okay. But if you're stuck in suffering, or you want to lift those feelings of suffering, ask yourself those questions. Am I repeatedly asking the whys? Am I in the what if I could have done this? What if this? What if that? Or are you moving more into acceptance? And it doesn't mean we have to let go and of them. Acceptance doesn't mean letting go. It's bringing acceptance here in the moment to heal, and to the only way you can move forward, you can't move backward, you can only move forward, or you can be more present in the moment. Okay? I'm just going to look at, so Kathy said, my mom passed 12 years ago unexpectedly. I felt her too for months after. I know she is with me, but never in my dreams. This morning I had a dream and I saw my mom standing by a doorway. Wow. Said nothing, and I woke up immediately trying to figure out what she wants. Just be open. See, that's where sometimes we have to, when we do let go of getting what we want and the way we want it, it makes space for grace to drop in. Matter of fact, this Wednesday night, I'm teaching miracles in the pause, where when we can just pause, let go, or be open, or drop the expectations, that's when grace can come in. That's a beautiful example of grace. Okay, so I want to keep moving, right? And this Doris is here live, and I want to thank Doris. I called her. She's a member of the Awaken My True Self community, and I've been able to witness her pain and anguish, but also her beautiful growth and the miracles and the blessings that she has experienced in the recent passing of her brother and then her mother a couple of years ago. And this is a comment from Doris. For me, loss and grief is because of love. If the love wasn't there in both directions, you wouldn't feel grief. Oh, that just rang true in my heart and my soul. And so sometimes we have to pause and step away from the whys and the what ifs and the big universe questions that won't be answered probably till we journey to the other side, but to pause and remember that love, remember our journey of growth and experiences. Some people have such depth of love that they journey with in their loved ones. And for me, my mother, I loved my mother, but it wasn't an easy journey. I almost felt a sense of relief from her suffering and a relief from just all the years that I was stuck in. Why is she this way? Why can't it be different? And through that transition, it was almost, I could be grateful for the freedom I felt, but also gratitude turned more into compassion, and then more understanding and wisdom came after passing, where I have more peace than I've ever had. So we're going to have many different experiences on the journey of letting go of our loved ones in spirit. But I just had to share that for Doris because I just thought it was beautiful. And so I wanted to share this. Holding on to what can't be changed creates suffering. So if you're replaying things over and over again, why, what if, why did it have to be this way? Why did it have to end this way? That's where that's where you can get stuck, right? I do believe, and this is my belief, and I don't know if you have this belief, but I can just share my belief, is that I know that there's an underlying grace to everything that we experience and everyone experiences. And that is the grace of our creator, our source, our oneness. And so to get stuck in this, everything happens for a reason. There may be a divine order. There is divine grace and a divine order, but we may never know up in here what that is. We can maybe experience more of that peace in our heart, but I feel that in that spiritual awakening along the journey, to know that there's an underlying grace to everything helps me to let go and trust even when I don't know. So to release suffering, you have to trust even when you don't know that all is well, all is in divine order, no matter how awful it may seem. What if, and this is really why I created Awakening My True Self in the community, which I'll share more about, but you can go to awakenmytrueself.com and learn more about it. But this is why I created the community, where we can journey all together in intention to wake up and remember who we are, why we're here, maybe have some comfort in community to share our journey together, to heal together, to awaken, to encourage each other. And this is what I have experienced in every midst of change I've gone to. If I'm awake enough to remember that every change, no matter how big or how small it is, points the way back to myself. Transformation occurs from the inside to the outer experiences. And so going through the loss of a loved one, going through the empty nest, as I talked about last week, going through cancer, going through the upcoming changes that I'm going to talk about in the weeks ahead, every single one, it was an opportunity in disguise to come back to myself and to ask that question, who am I now? What do I choose now? What is the growth and opportunity that's being presented? How can I live more fully my life? How can I choose wisely? How can I bring peace? How can I have happiness, joy? All those very deep questions, they come up when we go through the midst of change. So what if loss is an opportunity to know yourself? Give yourself permission to honor yourself. Now, this was something I had to do both after my sister's passing and my mother's passing. And I've talked to many clients and coached many people to do the same thing. Honor yourself. If you don't feel like being with other people, listen to that. Be with yourself. For me, after my mother passed, it was during the pandemic, and luckily that was a time that you can only be with yourself. But literally, for 3 months, I was like, I can't take care of other people, other clients. I can't focus on others. I have to focus on myself. And it was the best thing I could do because I needed to honor the waves of feelings and emotions, anger, grief, confusion. I mean, they're waves. Look at them at waves. And waves always come and they always go. And so if you suppress it and push it down, it stays stuck. It's when we let it flow and move that we can move through the loss to discover what's on the other side. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay. So really be selfish, be self first, because nobody's going to take care of you but yourself. Yeah, Doris, who I shared her comment before, says, my comfort zone is just being home for myself. Now, I want to also caution you, keep checking in. Am I avoiding or am I honoring myself? Because you want to check in because you don't want to get stuck, right? So, this is the time to be selfish, be self first. And then the other most important thing, ask for help. Ask for earthly help. Ask for divine help. There's this abundant universe. I have been sharing in the soul and the angels and guides for over 25 years because that's how I get through those times, and I want to share it with everyone. Just simply say a prayer. Show me what I need to know. Show me the way through. A book may cross your path, a messenger, somebody else that's going through, the Awaken My True Self community, whatever comes, be open, ask. Don't do it alone. That's why your angels are around you. That's why you have friends. That's why you have family. That's why there's communities. So ask for anything and everything you need, and don't stop asking until you're at peace. Okay? Now, next, if you could move forward and rebirth to live life more fully, what would you choose? So here it is, everyone. I know some of you will be able to hear this and some of you won't because you're still in it, or you can't feel this yet, but you will. I have come to the understanding that loss is a death, but it's an opportunity for rebirth. Loss is a death of someone, the old, what was, but it's an opportunity for rebirth. We came to this life experience. There will be constant experiences of death and rebirth. And so what if your soul, what if your loved ones have passed? What if that job that pulled the rug out from under you? What if the home that you lost is an opportunity for a rebirth, a restart? What would you choose? Put it in the comments. What would you choose? What would you choose to feel? And what if that opportunity is there for you right now? Because when Doris and I were talking, we both came to this outcome. Put yourself in your loved one's place who have passed. What would you say to them about living life here? If you passed and your loved ones were still here, what would you want for them? Would you want them to, I'm getting emotional as I think about this. Would you want them to suffer and stay stuck? Or would you want them to live life fully, to feel alive, to do things they've never done before, to take this opportunity to live their best life, to live authentically, to do something, their joy, their passion? What if the loss of the job was the universe giving you the cosmic boot to say, this didn't work for you. It doesn't work anymore. It's time to find out who you are and what you want. So you be your loved ones in spirit. You be the cheerleader to yourself saying, okay, life is too short. That's the first. I went on a whole journey after my sister's passing. I'd gone right from the cancer, then into her passing. I'm like, okay, no way do these big life changes that rocked me to my core. There's no way it wasn't telling me that I need to review my life and ask myself, how do I want to live it fully? If life is short, and it's been proven through the early loss of my sister, it's been proven to have cancer at 34. What if life's too short? How am I going to live it fully now? How are you going to return to yourself and find your joy, your passion, your aliveness, to appreciate just walking out into nature every day, to appreciate what's here to be appreciated? How can you do that? How are you going to choose right now? This is what my teaching's all about, is to bring a new awareness, to reframe awareness, to bring new choices, but it's up to you to take the action. Okay? So start now. Don't wait. Wake up tomorrow morning and say, how can I bring this choice of living life more fully now? How can I rebirth today? These are the questions you can ask yourself. And know that there's an abundant universe of help, support, guidance, signs, synchronicities, coincidences. I want to point the way to my Awaken My True Self community. The best thing I did a year ago is to create this whole portal and community of live events, support, resources, I'll show you more as the weeks come along, but I'm offering, join the wait list. Go to awakenmytrueself.com, join the wait list, and I guarantee you, if there's a glitch when you sign up, like a page that looks funny, we're taking care of it tomorrow, but just sign up, because it went through today, but it's not the graphics I like. So just be patient with me, right? In the midst of change and growth. And I'm offering all those, even on the wait list, even if you don't join the community, which I hope you do, because it's the best thing I can offer at such a minimal price, is that I will give you a free coaching call on November 1st to support you on your journey to do coaching and empowerment with you. All right, everyone. Leave your comments, hit that share button. There are so many people that probably need the support, or you can be there. Remember the universe. So if you hit that share button, you can be their earth angel. You can say, okay, maybe somebody will need this and they'll find it here, right? Because that's how we plant the seeds of help and support. So I'm just going to take a last look at your comments. Oh, look at Diane. I need to appreciate living in Rhode Island while I'm here. Yeah, I'm in Rhode Island. I love it, right? It's the ocean state for a reason. Thank you, Diane. And Pat, be happy and to go forward and live their lives. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. You are a gift. And thank you, Doris. You're thanking me, but I thank you. And thank you being a part of Awaken My True Self community. All right, blessings, everyone.